What's going on, guys? So we're back again with another gameplay video. This time we have Tyler here on the left playing Agents of Destruction, and we have Perth Pro Players team captain Jimmy here on the right with a throwback OG Broly. So just before we get started into the gameplay video, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Team Card Titan. If you guys want any sealed products or DBS singles, make sure you check out our link in the description below. So AOD, one of those really just versatile decks. I feel like it's had a little bit of a bonus with the recent promo that came out, but it's still always such a great deck, right? I think a lot of people just know what it does, so they don't play it as regularly, but it is really, really fun. Very interactive as well with all the counterplays, counterattacks. The bodies you can put on the board for very cheap. It's such a great deck that just swarms the board. I really, really like it. Tyler's been playing it for a while. Obviously, he really enjoys it as well, which is great to see. Jimmy, throwback, set 1. If you guys remember this stuff from back in the day, I hope some of you have been playing since that time as well, which would be cool. It's a really, really interesting deck. Obviously got the bonus with that new field card not too long ago. That card was great for the deck. Just made a lot more versatility in what the deck could do. The only thing I find is an issue with this deck is just the clogginess of 10Ks, right? That's the only downside sometimes, is that you get stuck with a lot of 10Ks. Great thing here is Jimmy has found the card that will let you go and get your field card. So we're going to swing in with Broly. We're going to discard a card. We're going to discard that and go and get our field card, which is really, really nice. And that's exactly what we want. It looks like we've got one in hand just there. So let's hope that the other one is not sitting in our life, because there's always that potential that it is sitting in our life, right? You're never 100% safe with it. I think we only run, I believe it's 2, could be potentially 3, could be debated for 3, but I think it is only 2. So we are going to discard this card, trigger our effect, taking 2 life. That's the other great thing as well. This was a deck that didn't awaken too regularly, right? Very fast, and that was one of the ways you could control it. So if they start taking away your hand, but you have to start taking away their hand by not allowing them to awaken too much. Now it has this way to awaken quite easily as well, which is great. And I believe hitting the field card as well allows you to choose if you want to take life too. Maybe Jimmy's not choosing to at this point. He may just choose to later, potentially have another way. But again, AOD can be very aggressive. So that's the scary thing, right? We can be very, very aggressive and get going. So we do need a little bit of life as a little bit of a buffer to protect ourselves. Throwback to awakening on your opponent's offensive step as well, because you are able to draw cards. That's not something that happens too often nowadays. Now it's something you really want to force out of every deck pretty much you play against. You want to try to force them to awaken during your turn, because that's when you're going to get your full benefit, right? But back in the day, you would awaken during your opponent's turn and you can make a huge difference, right? So let's see what Tyler's going for here. So it looks like we're going to hit the Turles, which is one of the best engines in this whole deck, right? Being able to check top 5 every turn. The fact that it's got barrier as well means it's pretty protected. Grab ourselves any AOD. So it looks like we are going to hit the 2 cost 13. Now this card is great as well. Probably one of the best cards in the deck, right? I'm assuming Jimmy will probably take this damage here, right? We'll see what he wants to do. But I would assume that he does want to take the damage here to try to get his awaken this next turn. I think we're going to wait for... I think what Tyler will do will hold up that energy, so that way he can either counter attack or counter play, right? Jimmy just really wants to shred that hand as soon as possible. The scary thing, though, is just having to tap out very often against this deck. So it looks like we're going to charge one of the field cards, which is understandable. We've got one on the board. That means we've got one for life pretty much with this deck, the way it is made. So I would assume Jimmy swings here, more than likely just discarding another Ribrianne, and then probably ripping 2 cards from the hand as well, right? So then we can take 3 cards from hand, which is rather scary. So taking a card just there. Sorry, we don't have to discard. My apologies. We do not have to discard because we've got the field card there on the board. My apologies. Forgot about that. Only sad thing is we do have to attack leader cards. We can't attack battle cards, so we have to give the card back. But I would assume here we're going to rip with Rib, take 2 cards away, keep him at a low total. The only thing is now we really need to get rid of that Turles, right? Because what Tyler's going to do here more than likely is awaken, right? So that way, what he'll do is when he awakens, he'll be able to get his full benefit. But then we need to take away the draw engine, which is that Turles on the backside of the leader, right? So without that Turles, he's not really going to get too many cards. So there is a potential that we can rip pretty much the whole hand and then force some damage through. And that's what you've got to do, is just, I guess, maintain hand, being the Broly player, and try to rip that person's hand as much as possible so that they wait. That way they can't really play the game, but you're having a great time. So I would more than likely think that Jimmy will take this damage again. It allows him a way to awaken too. So he's down to 4 life. He can awaken drawing 2 more cards, more protection. I believe he's got a super combo as well, which will force a bottom deck. So he does have the Android 18 super combo I can see in hand. So let's see what he decides to go for here. I would assume that that's what we do though, just to force another card out of hand once we have awakened. But I think we awaken first. So I think we take this damage, awaken, and then we can defend ourselves a lot easier as well. So it looks like we're grabbing a super combo to hand on the agent side, which is great. Leaving 1 card on the board, can't lose that one. It's probably important. It's probably a 13 or something like that. The other thing is, right, Jimmy doesn't draw too much in this deck, really. And the fact is, if we can get rid of Tyler's draw engine, so get rid of that Turles, it's going to be really nice for us. But we do need to try to keep this hand up. So it looks like what we're going to do is we're going to play out the 13 and we're going to shuffle in. Tyler does also run Lord Slug in this deck. So he runs the yellow slug. So green slug into yellow slug package, right? So you play the green slug for free off the back of the leader, and then you pay 1 energy for the yellow slug as well, which can be really, really taxing, unfortunately. I'm surprised that Jimmy didn't take the damage there. I thought he would take the damage, go down to 4, get his awaken off, so that way he can start causing more offensive pressure as well, because he'll take a card and then he'll also KO a battle card, which is ideal for him. So it looks like we're going to swing 10 into 10, taking that life, and we're going to start checking top. Grabbing a garlic for sure. Such a great card as well. So even if we do deal with that Turles, we're able to get that back pretty much straight away. I would assume this is where Jimmy takes the damage, right? I don't think he needs to combo the Ribrianne off right now. I think he takes the damage and he gets his awaken, drawing some more cards, right? I think that's the best choice here, because more than likely we're going to probably swing with that 13 as well. I would say Tyler is an aggressive deck, so I think he does want to swing with that 13 and start putting some pressure in. Regas the hand a little bit here too, it looks like. Looks like instead we are going to combo out to 20k. So interesting choice from Jimmy here. We're going to hit Agent Strike back, grabbing two agents, which is quite nice off the top there. And that's exactly what you want, right? So he grabbed a Janemba and he grabbed a Lord Slug. And that Janemba is the new promo that's come out, which I really, really like for the deck. Being able to free play offering. I think it has blocker as well. I can't remember if it has critical off the top of my head, but a great card, right? Surprised that he didn't go for the offering just there, right? I'm very surprised that he didn't go for offering. So looks like we are going to warp a card though from the drop area, or place it at the bottom, whatever it does. So we are going to get rid of that Ribrianne, which I think is a very good choice here for Tyler. So that's why he chose to go for that, which makes sense to me, right? That's very understandable. So more than likely, Jimmy here definitely going to take a 20k swing that's coming through. Take that damage. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So we're going to swing in Android 13. No negates. I would assume here we just go for our awaken, drawing another 2. Look at that beautiful leader as well. And it looks like we've hit a Ribrianne off the top, which is perfect. So we hit the Ribrianne, exactly what we want in our drop area. Now, there is potential that he plays another card out. Looks like Jimmy does play 3 field cards here, it appears, because I can see the third one in his hand right now, okay? And we've ripped a Zarbon off the top, which is another great card. And looks like we have another one in hand. So more than likely here, I would say Jimmy goes for the Ribrianne and then also the taxing of the leader's swing, right? So I would say that's probably the best choice right now, just to defend ourselves a little bit more, because we do need to take away a little bit of this board. So we're going to swing in. So we're going to swing leader into leader. Has to be into leader. We are going to garlic, and we're going to grab a Lord Slug, it looks like here. Now, Good thing here is he does have to discard one and then he loses a card from hand as well. So Tyler, by building up a board, is probably the best option in this deck to really get around hand destruction too much. Because if you can keep a lot of things on the board and Jimmy can't clear it, it's rather scary. Okay, but the fact is if we can just rip the hand enough, he's in a very good situation. Now, so yes, he would discard, and then Jimmy would also pop his field card, right? He's just not moving it, but that would be the choice. If you pop the field card, it comes back, right? So there's that extra protection just there. It looks like we're going to kill the Hatchiak, and then we're going to discard a card from our hand as well. So we're going to discard the Slug. I believe there's only 3 left in hand, or maybe 4. So 4 left in hand, it looks like, just there. Instead, I was wrong. I think probably we go for the Ribrianne here, though. Take some cards away from their hand. Just really try to tax. Now, this is the interesting thing about like these older decks as well, right? We can see, obviously, a newer deck that has been brought out. It's still old, technically, I guess, when you look at AOD in comparison to a lot of other decks. But you can see how much it does for so little energy. And then you look at one of these older decks, especially Green as well. Green's always very energy-heavy deck, unfortunately. But you can see the difference in he's having to spend a lot more energy to be able to do a lot less, right? Which does make it a little bit hard. So it looks like what we're going to do is we're going to play out the Freezer, and I believe we're playing out 2 tokens, or maybe it's just 1 token. Maybe I'm incorrect here. So it looks like we're going to play out a token. I'm assuming there's a reason from some of this spicy jank that we have here from Jimmy. But we can start building up these tokens, which is quite nice. Now, I don't remember if this is a 15k or not, this Freezer. I believe the token is a 10k, though. So it looks like we're going to swing 10 into 15. And we're going to take it to 15. So forcing Tyler, again, more than likely to just combo out. So it looks like we're going to bean and take it to 20k just here, right? Which is pretty interesting. Now, Jimmy may decide to go for the Zarbon for a little bit extra protection, but there's not too many cards in hand right now. We do have a super combo, and I believe most of the other cards in hand are comboable. So there is a potential that he just commits to the Ribrianne and then rips some cards, but it looks like we are going to go for the Zarbon. So we're going to play the Zarbon out by discarding a Zarbon, right? Which is fine as well. That's a great card. Again, Tyler not going to have too many cards in hand, though, so the effect's not really going to play in too much, but we do have extra protection, I guess. And there is the potential that he may go for a second Zarbon. So it looks like we're not going to. Looks like we're going to keep what's in our hand right now. Nothing he wants to discard. Probably wants this energy up. Not too sure if he has a negate or like a homicidal clone or something like that in hand, because that would be ideal. Now, Jimmy's got 4 cards rested, I believe. I think it's 5. So the field card's not actually rested. It is in active mode, right? Technically, it's just sideways is the way it is. So I believe that wouldn't come in. I think it's 5 cards that need to be rested for it to come into active mode. I could be incorrect, though. I haven't read the card in a while, so I can't remember exactly the clause. Really, we just use it for the offering effect. And it's a free play off AOD. That's really why I use it, but sometimes that potentially comes up. I believe, though, that's only... It has to be. I believe it's 5, if I remember correctly. But still, pretty nice for him, for sure, to be able to get something like that out into his energy as well. So it looks like we're going to grab a Broly just there. And a Broly's a great card as well, being able to KO something. There's not very many cards in hand, but he's probably going to free play that out. So that way he can just kill this Zarbon, so it's less protection. So yeah, it looks like exactly what we're going to do. We're going to play this out onto the board. Now Jimmy potentially has access to his own counterplay in this window just here. Let's see what he decides to do. Maybe he doesn't have the counterplay. If he does counterplay though, yes, he does discard 2 cards from hand, which Slug is rather brutal. Unfortunately, it is rather brutal, and it does tax quite a bit. But if he is willing to lose the 2 cards from hand, it could be valuable. The only thing I can see is he does have a super combo in hand, so he's got a little bit of protection, and I think he's got a few other combo pieces. I think you just let it happen. He's going to KO the Zarbon. How many cards have we got left in hand is the question, right? I believe it's under the 5. I think it's under 5, so he doesn't have to discard right now. And it looks like we've got a Baby Janemba as well in our hand, right, which is pretty nice, so we can actually hit that Baby Janemba. get the offering and potentially draw some more cards, unless Jimmy wants to crit one of his life, which, depending on how confident he feels, he may do just that. So let's see what he decides to go for. Believe everything else in hand is combo power, though, which is nice. Only 6 in hand, so we can see the difference in what... I feel like the difference in what the older decks used to do to some of the newer decks. Like, we didn't really get too much hand. We did. There's some decks definitely drew a lot of cards. Mecha back in the day in set 2 time was absolutely insane, right? Got so many cards. Just had so much advantage that way, right, over other decks because they didn't get very many cards and they didn't have as much protection. But it's really just a resource, right? Resource game in this. So he's going to take it to 25, which I think... Great choice here by Tyler, taking it to 25. We are going to hit a 25 back at Tyler. Having to bottom deck a card, so I think going down to 3 in hand and also losing a threat off the board, so another swing, which kind of sucks, right? I think it probably wouldn't be worth keeping that there 13 and just start swinging as much as possible. But I'm assuming he's going to go for his offering after this. But I think what's going to happen here, Jimmy's just slowly going to wear down his hand quite a bit, unfortunately, just to defend and protect out of this. So swinging in leader again. I'm assuming we just leave it at 15. I think what he needs to do at this point is just starting to whittle down as much as possible. I think he just needs to leave it at 15. Hitting another Broly off that Zamasu as well. I think we're going to hit... We're going to hit the Unison, which is great here for him. So more than likely, this is going to close out the game for him just here, right? I think this is probably it. Jimmy's only got 3 cards in hand, I believe, and we're already at a 25, 35. I'm assuming we're also going to combo the slug, right? Why not combo the slug? So 35. Exactly what Jimmy can hit. Beautiful. So exactly what Jimmy can hit just there. So unfortunately... wasn't able to really hold up. Unfortunately, AOD is very, very aggressive, and hand destruction needs kind of a slower game, a longer game, to be able to get advantage. But everything in green is very, very expensive, right? Which kind of sucks. Kind of cool to see, though, OG Broly. It was really interesting to see it. Obviously, not getting a hell of a lot of time to play, but I think if it was given more time, it would be in a great position. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to subscribe. Hit that bell to stay notified. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.